Morning. Hi, Harry, right?
There.
Well, hello. Hi. I'm glad you're able to hear me. We're live here, but I want to tell you, I'm now at the bottom of Lake Michigan. So you can see right through the submarine glass the sky, right from that sky. There we go. So as we're deep underneath the water, I want to let you know this is a very interesting spaceship that I'm in. It's got a few things here. But that glass there is tempered glass, and it will hold back at least 300 gallons of water. Okay, so that shows you the sky right there. All right. So I'm breathing oxygen right now, but actually I think we should get the show going because, it is, what is that? It's the off night. I know it's the off night. I keep fooling people that I remember or don't remember. It's part of my charm, my witty charm. But anyway, we're going to bring on some guys right now. We've got a great set of people to talk to. Let's see what the list was. Yes. Okay. Well, we'll get to that list because we're going to get Mark Sweetman, who is our MC and host for the show, to come on right now.
Hey, am I getting on there at all?
You're there.
I can see you.
Okay. Oh, super. All right. Let me take.
Hi, Susan.
Let me take the. Oh, that's not how. Let me try this again. Okay, let me try this again.
Lisa's on deck.
Lisa's on deck.
There we go. I like that fade out better. Lisa is on deck. I'll get her out here as soon as. All right, we're going to start with Susan's poem. So let's get that out of the way because my neck hurts.
All right.
Going in sideways like this.
Get out of my shot.
Wow.
Mr. DeVille.
Oh.
Wow.
DeVille.
Well, we see who wears the pants in that family.
All right,
now,
here's
don't
your
we?
poem. Quiet on the set. I can't read it with my glasses on. At a protest, Greta Thunberg was fined. Swedish climate debate should not be a crime. Fires in Greece, record heat in our west. Dear planet Earth, are we doing our best? Israel has stripped their courts of power. Controversial reform may be its darkest hour. And we will all be very sad today. Singer Tony Bennett has passed away.
Oh.
And Booker Tom Sobel.
Yes.
Love to you all. And now
Thanks,
back
Susan.
to your host and MC, the illustrious Mark Sweetman.
The electric
Will you be able to
Sweetman.
get through there?
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, we're high tech here, baby.
I don't think people realize how many people were kept alive by Tom Sobel.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's get everybody out here. Well, let me take me off. How do I do this now? All right. I'm doing this. I used to do it with a mouse movement. Oh crap.
Oh, Andy.
Use the trackpad.
All right. Somehow, I think I could take me off solo. That's not it. Is this it?
See, there is a trackpad
What trackpad?
on the keyboard.
Oh, and what does that do for me?
Well, it simulates a mouse.
And what do I do with the mouse then?
Well, that's a personal question, Mark. I think you're a full-grown man. You lived through the 70s. You
Well,
know
think
what we
of
do
a
with
mouse as a gerbil. There we go.
There we go. All right, now hold on.
More dark meat on
I
gerbil.
got to get Lisa in here.
Yes.
No, what? Hold on. I hit the. See, it doesn't do. Here's what the problem with that, Jason, is you say use the mouse pad.
Yeah.
That assumes that I know how to use a mouse pad. And that's where I think we're having the problems here.
Well,
I go to the guests. Oh, there's Lisa.
here's a-
She's smirking, so I know she's listening. It's that okay boomer smirk that we get from Lisa.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she's laughing at us. She's
Yeah, there we go.
with justification.
You know what? Lisa is the one person that can laugh at me from that generation because she's funny.
Okay.
So that is allowed.
And she does.
Oh yes, believe me, I do. All the time.
Oh, yeah. All right. So anyway, do you want to give an introduction to these kids about who Tom Sobel is? I think Andy knows him.
Do I?
And Sam knows him. Do you remember? Did you work for?
It'd be better for Sam because I know I was Tom Sobel. I went down to Toledo, but he was didn't do the Toledo Comedy Club. He did the opposite one. He was in charge of the was he in charge of the Bunny Bones?
Yeah. Did you ever do the Caravan for him?
I never did the Caravan. No.
Okay.
But
But
I worked at the Toledo Comedy Club.
right.
I couldn't get into the Caravan.
Ah, I never had that problem. I worked at Toledo Comedy Club and worked for the
Well,
Caravan.
I could have been my breath. I don't know. I think just
I think it's when you went in with them. You know what I mean? I think it's when you, and it probably wasn't. It doesn't sound like Sobel would ban somebody for working in an opposing club. That sounds like the Toledo,
No.
because the Toledo Comedy Club was opened by that shithead that invented summer money. So
yeah.
and that was not Sobel at all. Anyway, 3 people here: Jason, Wesley, and Lisa do not know who Tom Sobel is. He passed away on Friday, and
I've heard the name, but I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just say that for different reasons, probably the 3 most helpful people to me in comedy, that weren't comics, because I did have a lot of help from other comics, but Mark Ridley, Tom Sobel, and Bud Friedman. And all I got to say is, because everybody dies in threes, I'm going to check on Mark Ridley this week, because I'm a little. We already lost Bud and Tom within a year. But Tom Sobel, before anybody knew who we were, Tom Sobel knew who we were. And you can go back and you can watch Tonight Show, Johnny Carson Tonight Show, first time appearances, because that was the mark that we tried to all meet. We all wanted that first appearance on the Tonight Show. And at least 50% of them were helped by Tom Sobel before they even got to that point. They developed their acts, they made a good living, and every time I have to hire an attorney to look at paperwork for me, I think of Tom Sobel, because everything was a handshake and a phone call, and he was a man of his word, and that's it. Andy and Sam can say what they need to say. Everybody else has said everything this week.
Let me say that I started working for Tom Sobel 40 years ago.
Wow.
1983.
Wow.
And Tom Sobel was ripped off by more people than anyone you can imagine. Okay, other bookers ripped him off. Comics wouldn't give him the commission they were supposed to give him.
Yep.
Over and over and over again. And the only way he got his money back was by kidnapping and killing their children, which I thought was, the way to go.
Well, in our business, not necessarily a bad thing.
That's a fair deal. But Tom Sobel, except for Rodney Dangerfield, I don't know any person in the comedy world who more people did an impression of than Tom Sobel.
Bud Friedman was the one I thought of. Friedman and Tom Sobel.
Yep. And I say this as someone who loves to talk. He could not stop talking. before you could call someone and talk for an hour and a half because of cell phones. If you call Tom Sobel long distance, you were thinking about, all right, now how much is this going to eat into my rent? Because even his own brother Chip did a great impression of him. This was his impression of Tom. He goes,
Sam.
He goes,
this is Tom Sobel.
Sam Greenfield. How do I get to Cincinnati? Sam, first there was lava.
very, very detailed in his approach.
Yeah, but Roseanne Barr worked for him. Tim Allen worked for him.
Yep.
Huge names worked for him. And the clubs he had were great. The Comedy Caravan, which is not the original name of it, in Louisville was great. Let me tell you how many times
it was wasn't it called the Funny Farm or something like that?
Funny Farm. Let me tell you how many times I worked there. You ready?
Yeah.
40204 was the zip code.
Okay.
The phone number was 502-459-5532. That's how often I worked there.
Yeah.
And when my daughter was born, Tom, who had never met Cass, gave me a check for $200 as a birth gift.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a very decent guy. I always had fun with Tom. You know, he was great, and he smoked more dope than Lenny Bruce.
That's saying something.
I mean, if you went to Tom's car, you didn't need to smoke dope. You just breathe.
He always saw me. I was so happy. He always saw me at Bear's Den in Bloomington, Indiana. And it was, to me, back in the 80s, it was
in Bloomington.
What's that?
In Bloomington.
Yeah, Bloomington, Indiana. Exactly. The Bear's Den. And I always loved that he came to see me there because I never had a bad show. And I don't think anybody could have had a bad show in Bloomington.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
But then after about the third time he saw me there, I realized he was always wanting me to tell him how great that room was.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, you know.
Here's Andy. Did you ever do Bloomington?
No, I did not. So
it was okay. It's a Monday night, and it was an add-on to something. Usually, you were going into Columbus or Louisville, right? And so this caravan. In fact, that's when I met you, Sam. We did that swing together. And
it was Bear's Place, and Tuesday night was the Two Keys in Lexington.
In Lexington, yep.
And Wednesday was, well, for me, was in Richmond, Indiana, and then we would go down.
Owensboro. Did you do Owensboro?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Owensboro. The Owensboro room was amazing. It was the International Inn. Now, keep in mind, this is Owensboro, Kentucky, okay?
Yep.
So we were there on a Wednesday. You know who was there Thursday through Sunday? Tom Jones.
Engelbert
Humperdinck.
Yep.
Leslie Uggams.
You know, and often if you were on the caravan tour, you would start out as he'd always start you out as an MC, then the middle, then the headliner. You worked out that way. But he was cool about moving you up because he had so many rooms. But the thing is, you get to Owensboro, and anybody on that show, whether they were headliner, middle, or opener, if they needed a comic for that weekend's headliner, he would keep you on, and you would get to open for whoever the headliner was.
You mean the headliner at like a Tom Jones kind of thing?
Yes. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, when Sam and I talk about headliner, it's different than how they talk about headliners today. These days, a headliner is somebody who closes a room in a comedy club. In our day, a headliner was somebody who sold tickets just with their name.
That's right.
That was a headliner. You didn't call comics were never considered headliners. In fact, it wasn't. And who was the first person? I think it was Robin Williams, who first. Or Steve Martin and Robin Williams came out about the same time. Steve Martin a little bit earlier, and they were the first headline comics. Everybody else was an opening act.
Well, there were comedy clubs throughout the country where, and there was a cyclical thing about this, where you would have there was a comic who, let's say there's a brand new club, okay, brand new room. Who are you going to get to start off your week? Who are you going to get to kick off that first week? And originally it was Dennis Wolfberg.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then it was.
Then he passed away.
And then it was Rich Jenny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it was Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whoever was the hot act at that time, that's who would. But
Alan Havey was the guy for a while.
Alan Havey also. Yep. But it's funny. I worked with a comic, and I literally cannot remember this bastard's name, and I say that with no affection whatsoever. But
yeah, but you know what? When you say comics and bastard, you're not really narrowing it down.
Well, it's not. Yeah, but this guy gave me his intro. He wrote it down, and I looked at him and I said, I had an SAT exam that wasn't this long. I said, what are you doing? I mean, this is just going to be,
Sounds like Jerry. Was it Jerry Grossman? That sounds like what he would do.
Oh, that's it.
Was it Jerry Grossman? Oh, I called it. I got it.
Oh my God, that's so great. So I said, I'm just going to say, listen, this guy's just appeared at blah blah and blah blah. You're going to love him. He said, no, I want this read exactly as it is. So I said,
I
came so close to going, what if I don't? What if what are you going to tell on me? But I did it, and he didn't do well. And
I got to introduce Jimmy Walker one time, and he was the only one. He was the only one that told me what not to say for an intro. And basically, the words were, "If you say dynamite, you will never work again."
Which is amazing because without dynamite, you wouldn't know who he was.
I know, but still, it's like, Sam Kinison got sick of his character after a while too, because he could only get, and same with Bobcat Goldthwait.
Stop doing it.
Haywood Banks. I mean, those characters.
You don't like your act. Change your act.
Yeah, well, the same thing. Yeah, but you know what? Even though it wasn't a character and it was totally him, the other guy, you might be a redneck. I can't think of his name now.
Oh yeah,
Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff
Foxworthy. Another Tom Sobel act. Jeff Foxworthy, right? He after a while got, he hated being known just for that.
Start writing heavy material that doesn't appeal to people who can't count.
There's that too. So, but anyway, back to Tom Sobel.
So Grossman does his act, and on a scale of 1 to 10, he was about a 6 with the audience. They didn't hate him, they didn't love him, And so he said, "Now this is what I want." He actually did this. He said, "As I'm walking on stage to end the show, he goes, 'Now this is what I want." I said, "Get away from me." Get away from me. The show's over. Get away from me. And the audience loved the middle act. They loved me, and they kind of liked him. So I went on stage and I said, "How about a nice hand for Jerry Grossman, who gives a whole new meaning to closing the room." And so he goes up to the owner of the club and he goes, "I don't want this guy to ever work again." And he goes, "Yeah, but," and this is how the owner said it. He went, "Yeah, but he was funny." Not he was funny. Wow. He was funny. And is Grossman still working?
I think he might be. I think I saw an ad for him somewhere.
I don't mean at a Piggly Wiggly. I mean, is he actually?
No, I think you know what? He's probably like all those guys that had a musical act. They're probably doing cruise ships.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yep. People do those voluntarily.
What's funnier than cruise ships?
Funny.
David Nastor.
Auschwitz?
Touring the country. Very funny. That's why they call it a camp. The David Nastor is going around the country being a motivational speaker.
John, what's it? Frank King is doing that.
Yeah, but Frank King leaves people feeling good about themselves.
I remember a story about Gallagher lecturing some very big comedian about how you can't do the stuff that you're doing because you won't get on the state fair circuit. And I know there is a state fair circuit, but it's the kind of thing I would rather fillet a chainsaw than work the state fair circuit. I mean,
another thing about Tom Sobel is until he got sick around the holidays last year, he was still doing this. He was still booking comics at every level.
What was his cause of death?
You know what? I don't know, and I didn't. Anybody I asked doesn't know, and so. I'm sure we'll hear about it. I have his phone
number, but I don't want to call him now because of obvious reasons.
Yeah, obviously. But
would the man been considered your agent, or is he?
He's Jewish, so he's probably already buried. So.
Yeah.
How long do we sit Shiva for Tom?
Or shit Siva?
How long do we shit Siva?
It depends. If it runs into a holiday, it ends after the holiday. Up to the holiday. If not a holiday, it's 30 days.
Okay.
That's why we're suffering people.
You know what? The last time I saw him was at Chili Chalice's funeral. I feel like I should go to his funeral.
Who?
Chili Chalice. Remember Burt Chalice?
Oh, God. He had a girlfriend, Barbara Swanson. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
God, I had to work with her in West Palm Beach. She would call his number. It was busy. Hang up. That's when you had busy signals, folks. Hang up, call back, hang up. I said, "Could you put the phone down for like a minute so somebody else could use it?" "Yeah, but I said, "You've called him 20 times. It's still busy." just give someone, and I finally went, just give a fucking phone like that. So somebody,
For Lisa, giving up the phone so somebody else could make a call is something we used to have to do because often there'd be one phone in the whole building.
in the whole building,
We all didn't,
Or in the
we all
prison
didn't have our
yard.
own phones, so.
or in the
Sometimes they're called pay phones. Sometimes you
or
put
the
money
case
into
of
them. You know?
Owensboro of the entire city. So
When I was in Jackson Prison, you'd get shanked if you took the phone a little too long.
Got it.
That,
Sorry,
see,
guys. It's a
that
story.
now, right there is why we need Jason on this show every week. We need the
to avoid being
we
shanked.
need the in prison point of view on this.
in prison and
Yes.
shanked. Yeah.
So, who do you think's the best comic the prisoners would love? You know?
Anyone that would come in and give them dope and head would pretty much do the trick.
That
Got
sounds
it.
like the worst name for a restaurant ever.
Dope and head.
Dope and head.
Dope and head.
Hey guys, I don't mean to enter, but while this
Or
is
just
on the
call it
top-
dope heads, you know?
Well, this is on the top of my head. I was actually recognized for the first time off grounds, and it was out at my new job at the Chrysler Proving Grounds. The security guard was writing my name down. It goes, "Hey, I saw you. You're at Ipsy Ale House. You and my girlfriend saw you.
Good
We
for
thought
you,
were
man.
great." And
Good
I'm like,
for you.
and I was not giving him dope or head yet. I mean,
Yeah.
later,
Yeah.
well,
You notice I say yet.
he's
Yeah.
got a
Well,
girlfriend.
now
so we
Lisa,
gotta
Lisa,
kinda,
you had an occasion from a show you did at Planet Ant that you got recognized from, right?
Yeah, actually, I got recognized twice at Beer
Wow.
Fest. Yeah, I know, on
Nice.
2 different days. I think it was 2 different days. God, I don't remember now. Kind of a blur. Yeah, like it was. Yeah, the first one was they said, "Oh, it's a show in Hamtramck," and I'm like, "Well, it has to be Planet Ant because that's the only show I did in Hamtramck so far. I'd never managed to get out for Indy, unfortunately, before they stopped for the summer. And yeah, and then I ended up talking to a couple, and they weren't there, but they were just like, "Oh yeah, we go to Unclub, we do that." I'm just like, "Oh yeah, I've been there like a lot," you know.
Yeah. Well, you should get used to it. It's going to be happening a lot for you. Me, on the other hand, unless the outtakes from To Catch a Predator make the
You
airwaves,
smell great.
I'm pretty much this is probably the peak.
Oh, no, we're going to get your rants. Your rants are going to be known.
I'm hoping. I mean,
Have you
when I talk about the crap that I want to buy, it's because I want to record some of my sets properly, because it might be useful in terms of putting up on YouTube or something. I don't know, but it's something, and I do want to do it. So,
Well, you and I still have a informal commitment from Claire to sit down and talk about using that room.
we should definitely get a hold of her and get this rolling. I mean, it'll probably take till fall to get it to happen.
All right.
But
Well,
once it happens, it'll make this podcast a lot better, because
I've
we'll have
got,
like sort of a locus of operation.
I've got Tuesday and Friday available. So
Okay.
if that's something, that's the day you can do. I can call up Claire and see what we can work out.
Okay. I work till 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
But-
shit!
Well, that's all right. What? Hey, look, I'll sleep a little. We get up, we go, we do. the thing,
I sleep till 7 o'clock in the morning. So
There you go.
what a
then
coincidence!
I just roll over, say, listen, it's my turn. You roll out, and there we go.
God.
And
Hey, Lisa.
All right,
Lisa,
hold on.
tell us about your first time getting paid.
yeah,
What was the set like?
I mean, for comedy.
It was all right.
So we were better
Alright.
off at the bar. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it was just odd. It's just odd. Like that was the first time I was doing Supernatural, and like I had been there twice, and like the crowd was just totally different from the other 2 times.
Because they were
But
paying
whatever.
this. They were paying this time, probably. Right?
I tell you, if
No,
you
it
get a
wasn't.
chance to do the old Miami in Detroit, and you'd be perfect for it,
Oh yeah.
do it.
Yes.
You'd be great. I've been blessed once.
Okay,
Oh,
bye.
there goes Jason.
You should
Lisa, have you
definitely-
done Have you done the shipping company yet, Lisa?
No, I
Oh, that's pretty
haven't.
good. That's a good place.
Yeah, no, I keep getting asked to go out there because yeah,
They
I have
pay.
a friend out
That's
there.
a paid gig. They'll,
Oh yeah. No, I
they'll
need to
pay
go
for
out there at
sets
some
there.
point.
All right, cool. All right, well, let me wrap up this Sobel thing. I just wanted to talk about him because guys like Sam and I, who, honest to God, you go ask anybody off the street who Mark Sweetman and Sam Greenfield are, nobody knows. But in the industry, we were known, and that helped us when we needed to go to New York or LA or anywhere we needed to go, because we were basically tutored by Tom Sobel.
Mhm.
He's the guy that taught me, because I was from Detroit. I thought after I did my set, I was done, and he was the guy that gave me the phrase "press the flesh," which meant go out
Yeah.
there and
Oh,
greet the
absolutely.
audience as they were leaving the
Oh,
room.
absolutely. Don't act like, I'm done.
Exactly.
People come up to you, and this is what I would do, and he loved me for this. People come up and say, you're really terrific. I would say, they got here next week. They got blah, 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 and they're terrific too. And he came up, he said, hug me. He said, why'd you do that? I said, why would I not want people to come back here?
Right.
Why would I not want people to come back here? I want this to be like an appointment for them.
And did he ever
go to
Tom
the
Sobel
caravan?
ever-
Thursdays, go to the caravan.
Yep. Did Tom Sobel ever not make everything right for you?
No, it was superb.
It was, and he kept an account of it. I got a $700 check from him like 7 years later after he found out. Did you ever hear the story of, I guess, somebody told, no, it was Patton Oswalt was telling a story about doing a Sobel gig. And he didn't mention that it was a Sobel gig. He just said he was in the Midwest and he was opening for there's my daughter.
Hi.
And he was opening for somebody. Well, the story is now broadcast on Conan or whatever show he was on. And Sobel sends him like $60. He goes, that's a commission you shouldn't have had to pay. Did you ever hear that story?
I not only haven't I heard that story, but you just described the only person on the planet Earth who would do that for you.
Well, I had one other that did that. And I'll mention his name since he did. Stan Bumgarner paid me a headlining fee. His check bounced because they were closing this room. They were basically taking his shit away. I was the last headliner he had. And he said, don't cash this check for 3 days. So I waited in town for 3 days at his comedy condo that was also being cleaned out while I was trying to move out. I pretended like I couldn't move out. And I don't know how that worked out. But anyway, he ended up paying me my check years later. Like it was in 87 I headlined for him, and I think I got the check in like 93. So 6 years
Wow.
later. So Tom Sobel and Stan Bumgarner are the only guys that ever did that for me.
I just want to point out, 2 Jews, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to point that out.
We love
Save
the
your
Jews.
stereotype.
We love the
See,
Jews.
if I'd said
there were
that,
no
you'd have called
Jews,
me the Nazi
no
bastard
Jews,
that I
no
am.
show.
So Dan, what is Larry the Cable Guy's real name? Dan Whitney, kiss my ass.
Yes.
You anti-Semitic sack of shit. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Seriously,
we
did
get
you
off Tom
guys
Sobel now. I just
run
wanted-
into
I just wanted
problems
to make
getting
sure he got
paid?
recognized for,
I'll tell you
especially for
later.
people that hadn't heard of him. So
Say again.
I said that's enough for Tom Sobel. I just wanted to recognize him.
I just saw something on TV I thought you would find amazing.
What's that?
There's a big stink going on in Florida about this Florida school board saying that, slavery was okay because it taught them job skills.
All right, can I just take one word out of that opening statement about that? Can I
Yeah.
just take one word out of it and feed it back to you and explaining all that's going on? The word that you said was Florida.
Yeah.
I think that explains everything that comes out of there.
Well, that's true. So whenever I see a story like that, I immediately go to Fox News. Immediately. And they have the African American guy who is the head of the school board who passed this idea. And this is how he defended it. He said, many of you don't know this, but there was a slave whose owner's mistress taught him how to read. Now, if I'm the host of the show, my next thing would be, and
Oh God.
and did it end the whipping? No? Oh, okay. Did his wife keep getting raped? Oh, okay. Did they rip their child out of his arms? Oh, okay. But he can read now. So his daughter can tell him, hey, I'm being held a slave in Savannah. Oh, great.
Does anyone remember?
It's almost like saying they use rounded chains rather than scuff chains.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very humane, yes.
Does anyone remember the film from the mid-1970s called Mandingo?
Remember?
Yes. Okay. Joe Frazier.
They did a remake of that, didn't they?
No, Ken Norton.
Ken Norton, excuse me.
Ken Norton did it.
Mark, you're certainly familiar with the Deja Vu, and I'm certain you know that was at one time an actual theater. It's across the street.
Oh,
They
across the
closed
street,
down.
across the street from the ale house. Yeah.
My
Art Cinema 1 and 2.
My mother and one of her friends went to go see Mandingo at that place when it was still a legitimate theater, being the only two pale-faced, blue-eyed white devils in the entire crowd. And
that was me and my son in Harlem when we went to see Django Unchained.
yeah,
and Susan
as you
George
know-
was the blonde slave owner's wife.
yes, and
Susan
she's the one.
George.
She's the one who said you might as well hit it because if you don't, I'm going to say you did anyways. And
I don't think she said hit it, but I
well,
get the
Mandingo was that crossover because there were blaxploitation films at the time, but Mandingo was the first one that the studios got behind and said, "All right, we're going to produce this like a Hollywood film."
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And
key word in that sentence, like.
Yeah.
well, mother had read the book and she just couldn't wait to see the movie. And
how about the sequel?
She might have wanted to star in it if she could have.
Yeah, but not as the mistress. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not breaking any rules there's two words that could express what my mother was in many ways, and they are size queen. She enjoyed men who were blessed, and she was never shy about that. It's just
I shall return.
Okay. Well, I guess we got Wesley and Andy down here.
So was Shaft a blaxploitation film, or was that a Hollywood one that was made?
That's an exploitation film that went mainstream.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought it was a
Shaft
Hollywood
was huge.
Yeah, great film. Yeah, I think it was actually the song that made it probably big.
Well, yeah.
So.
I mean, anytime you've got Isaac Hayes doing your music for you.
Yeah.
And actually, when he was cast properly, Isaac Hayes was a fun actor. Remember him in Escape from New York?
Oh yeah.
The guy had presence.
He wrote a lot of good music too.
Oh, he was an arranger. I mean, he wrote, like you said, Wesley. He wrote music. He wasn't just someone who's following along.
No, he wrote a lot of good music. You see him on the Rockford Files and stuff.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and then of course
what was it? What was the name of the character? He was always Gandhi. Gandhi.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like Gandhi was always like, "Hey, Rockfish." There we go.
Yeah,
that was
Rockfish.
it.
Right.
Rockfish. Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey,
God,
wasn't Linda Lovelace? Wasn't she in Mandingo?
I don't think she was in that.
Or was that the porno version that I'm thinking of?
Might have been. She did not do that much hardcore. She did one that we're rather familiar with, and she did some 8mm loops back in the day. The guy that she was married to or living with was an unconscionable exploitative monster, Chuck Trainer, who, if there really is hell, he's down there in the Hitler suite, getting the A1, and she couldn't leave porno fast enough. But when you go back and look at some of the movies she was in, and you see why she looks really beat up, it's because she was really beat up.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Again, it's not like nowadays I don't know. I have sort of all kinds of crazy feelings because in this industry, not like I'm an expert, but it's one thing when you do OnlyFans and whatever. You're in front of a camera, you do whatever you do. But when
you can be in a support role, they always need fluffers, right?
Yeah, they need fluffers.
Right,
but back in the day, man, it was just a nasty, horrible business. People knowingly working with AIDS.
Oh yeah.
People knowingly. Johnny Holmes is one of the good examples. He wasn't the only one, but there were women who contracted AIDS because they did scenes with that monster.
Which monster? The monster with the monster, or
both? The guy the monster was attached to. The monster.
Hey, Lisa, I want you to tell me more about what happened to the Supernatural. What was your act that you did in the Supernatural?
God, I don't remember. Okay, there it goes. I'm having connection problems. I don't know if that's on my end or Mark's. Whatever. No, it was just really more of an unexpected thing. Like I wasn't really expecting
Was the audience
the
like
audience feel like
older?
that. It was just
Was the audience
different
older
than I
in the mix?
expected.
The audience was older than you expected?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it was necessarily they were older. It's just like my jokes weren't like landing the same way, and that was like I went up early, and I don't know. I do have like weirder comedy for let's say
For
very
us
very
old
white
folks.
bread audiences.
For us old folks. Well, I think you're great, but
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm at home with my Ouija board listening to Shriekback Black Nemesis as an EDM mix. I mean, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
well,
yeah.
I
Well,
sent you
in
that,
general is just different.
yeah.
Got it.
Mark's
Do you
back.
know this is something that's kind of that most comics will do. When you put up material and you do it in a different room, do you pay attention to which jokes actually work? And then do you try and adjust, or do you when you
Try
put jokes
to.
together? Okay. Because I mean, because what
Yeah, I
what
tried
I
to
what I
if I
found,
can remember.
I mean, what I found is moving from part of the country to the other country is, when I went to Ohio, it was all like joke oriented. Everything was like jokes. Then I went to out in Minnesota, Minneapolis. They like characters a lot. They like voices, characters, and it was like a strange thing. You could do jokes, but it was mostly they wanted to see the characters. At least that's my impression was. And then went to New York. It was kind of in between. So it was sort of like, you know, I think mostly people like the jokes because they can take them home and they can say them, and they can't really do the impressions. You know, he did this great Gable impression. You know, anyway. So
Got a Gable impression. I love it.
oh, that went over big time back then. You know.
I loved when a comic would do this. I think Mark and I used to see this. I don't know if the rest of you saw this. Maybe you did. Where they go, can you imagine Sammy Davis, blah blah blah, and it'd go like this, and the guy would turn around with his back to the audience,
Yeah.
and then turn back as if we forgot who he was. Okay?
Yes.
And so I remember Dennis Miller. He cracked me up so great. He goes, can you imagine? I'm trying to think of who he was talking. Oh, Humphrey Bogart as a grocery clerk. And Dennis Miller goes, no, pal, I can imagine you as a fucking grocery clerk. I don't see the great stars of the 20th century hustling melons, okay?
Yeah, no,
It might look like this. And he would turn like it was magic. Like, I didn't realize it was you. Oh, Jesus.
you see, Frank Gorshin can do that. If you've got Frank Gorshin,
But
okay.
I worked with Gorshin. He was
Amazing.
so good, though.
Well, no, that's what I mean. And he wouldn't have to introduce who he was doing. You would know who he was doing.
No, you could just in other words, when he did Kirk Douglas, you knew it was Kirk Douglas.
You knew it was Kirk Douglas. And what
His
I
whole
loved
face
about
transformed.
Gorshin
Yeah.
is on the way to the hospital for his 7th heart attack. He like stops to get a pack of smokes and pick up a cheeseburger and chili fries.
You know, when I worked with him, he smoked a lot.
Yeah, well, he liked like 3 packs a day. I mean, just like one after the other.
Yeah, he literally couldn't stop. It's what killed him.
But I had to give him credit for just, own it, baby. Oh, at this point, you've done what you're going to do. You smoked enough nicotine to poison the whole population.
Well, he said,
why stop now?
When I worked with him, it was in Boston, and he looks at me like this, like, he goes, are you funny? And he went, yeah. He said, well, one of us has to be, so I'm glad it's you. And he was very nice. He says, what's this audience like? And he said, why am I asking you that? You're not there yet. What the hell's wrong with me?
He was a good dramatic actor when he had a role.
Wonderful. Star Trek.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I was thinking. Yeah, he played his character with a certain amount of malevolence, and it was an. I don't know if I could actually do a character where you're half black, half white, painted down the middle. I mean, that seems crazy, but yet he pulls it off and makes it look, and the guy who's playing up against is one of the guys who was in Cool Hand Luke, Lou somebody that I can't remember. But
say again.
I'm thinking the actor he played against in that show. It was
in Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah, well, he was in Cool Hand Luke.
George Kennedy.
No, different
Strother
guy.
Martin?
He played Coco. He played Coco.
He played Coco in Cool Hand Luke, and he played
Strother
the other.
Martin?
No, not Strother. No, but he played the antagonist in one Star Trek episode up against Gorshin. who was black on one side, white on the opposite side.
Dee Dee Ramone.
Yes, it was Dee Dee Ramone. God, that was good. Yeah, I would have never got there. Yeah,
Wow.
man.
Wow, that's
I don't even know where I
great.
pulled that from. I have no idea where that came from. That just.
You
Wow, you
know,
pull that way from way back, you know.
Well, it's funny that there's a comic. Not a comic, but a rock critic here who said, rock and roll. When someone says something like this, you got to look at him and go, "There's no sense in arguing."
No.
And he goes, rock and roll died the day that Ian Hunter stopped writing music, and I went,
"Oh,
Ian Hunter?
What is that?
Ian Hunter?"
Sure.
And he went that, and I went, "Oh, okay," because you're not going to win that argument.
No.
Oh.
You could bring Ian Hunter into the room and say, "No, rock and roll is still around," and he would still disagree.
God.
Dr. Z.
Ian Hunter is a funny guy. If you ever listen to him, he does not take himself seriously at all.
No, he doesn't. Thank God.
For what time period is Ian Hunter?
Mott the Hoople, early 70s into the early 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
Into the early 80s, yep.
He had a great album, which was "You're Never Alone with a Schizophreniac," which is a great album title.
Got it.
I mean, but he's not going to be confused with Lou Reed, or the Beatles. It's David Bowie on a bad day. Although he did give Mott the Hoople, David Bowie did. He gave Mott the Hoople All the Young Dudes.
Yep.
Which was an amazing song, wonderful anthem, that sort of saved their career.
See these glasses?
Yes, sir.
These are my glasses, and when I got out of the surgery, they had them in a plastic bag.
Right.
And I said, these are not my glasses. And so I told my daughter, I said, I'm going to call that hospital because these aren't my glasses. And my daughter said, I love this. This is what I love about it. Do you know why you don't think they're your glasses, Dad? Because the folks at the hospital cleaned them.
Ooh.
They wiped all the shit off of the lenses, and then you can actually see through them. And the sad part was, she was absolutely right. She was right.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
You notice that the lenses are sparkling clean, Dad? And she goes, savor that, because it's never. I'm going, God, you were so mad. Oh, my God.
On a somewhat different note, Lisa, did you MC last night?
She did.
Lisa, she's in the Charlie Weaver Square. How'd it go? She smiled. Uh-oh, we're having connections. Oh dear.
Maybe she didn't like that.
She slipped back to 2016.
I'm here.
There you go.
Good
So
job.
how was Jason wants to know how your MC gig went?
How was the MC last night?
Yeah, you weren't there. No, it
know.
went really well. Like, I think I got like a lot of people that said like this was such a good night, and I was
Fantastic.
like, oh, thanks.
Nice.
Work.
I'm just.
I'm not
I think it
trying
went
to be
well. I think it went really well.
Good.
Well,
To say it seems like they kind of have a crowd there that's kind of your speed, so to speak. Some younger folks, you don't have the fossils that they have to wheel in the in the assisted living chairs like me.
Now, she
Well, we
did
seem to have hit a wall.
Somebody was inquiring about you. They wanted to know when what's his name was going when Jerry Garcia was coming back. So
Tell him he's here.
There you go.
It cost you $5.
Jerry Garcia. I can dig it.
Yeah.
I still remember the day he died. I was working at the cab company, and we had a guy there who was just like this amazing deadhead who had followed the Dead around 4 years, and when the Dead would go off tour, he'd come back and work the cab company. And I went to the lot when I heard that it was announced because his name's Willow, like in Willow Tree, and he was just sobbing in the back lot. He couldn't work. He was beside himself, and
He was a deadhead.
Yeah, huge. I saw the Dead in my life 3 times. That's not Deadhead, right? 3 times over 20 years. But you know, yeah. There were
What
those
was the
who
name
were
of the guy who was like second to Garcia in that band?
Bob Weir.
Bob Weir.
That's who it was. I opened for Bob Weir in D.C.
You're kidding.
And the audience would have rather been burned alive than watch me. All they wanted was Bob Weir.
Yes.
And I get on stage and they're booing me and you suck. And, you know, so Weir says, listen, I'm really sorry about this. And I said, it's okay. This is 1980. I said, it's okay. I'm getting paid $300. They can burn me alive. I said, okay. And he said, no, it's not fair. I told my manager, I said, do not book a comic. Just don't. You know, it's not. He said, I'll make you a deal. I'll be sitting up in the light booth. You know, where when you come in, the light booth is, you know, behind you, so people don't see it. If you make me laugh, I'll give you a gift. So I said, okay, that's fair. Second show. A very funny comic. Fuck you, boo. You know. So I go on. I didn't add the best part. I'm wearing a suit. And so, okay, so I go on stage. I go, please just have your attention for a second, please. Thank you. And I pull out a piece of paper. How many people came here tonight to see Bobby and the Midnighters? Okay. How many people came here tonight to see me, my girlfriend? I couldn't get the volume on that. Could we try that again? Fuck. And he said, well, you made me laugh. 7 tie sticks.
Nice. Damn.
I just finished the last one 2 weeks ago.
But I'm about to say that should have set you up pretty good.
And he was backstage with his, you know, musicians and 3 female friends. And he said, you know, the girls thought you were really funny. And I said, and you didn't? And he said, no, but it's nice when chicks think you're funny.
Yeah.
Chicks like that. I go, chicks like what? Funny guys. I go, yeah, that's why they're with you. Yeah, they come up to me, they go, you were very humorous. And they go, you don't have any glow, do you? No? Okay.
No.
You were very funny. Very, very funny.
Well, come on. Anybody got a Tony Bennett story? Come on. It's got to be
Well,
at least one.
he was responsible for building my daughter's high school.
Doing what to your daughter's high school?
Building it, making it happen.
Oh,
was it an Italian thing out there, one brick, or is he?
No, the Frank Sinatra School for the Performing Arts.
Really?
He convinced the mayor at the time, Bloomberg, and they got $30 million together, and they created this gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful school.
Was that the one in Brooklyn?
And I don't know if it was in his contract, but whenever they mentioned the school, like in an assembly or something, they had the Frank Sinatra School for the Performing Arts, founded by Tony Bennett, every time.
Wow.
Nice.
Every time. And so, you know, that's my Tony Bennett story.
Well, last night on one of my favorite alternative rock stations, they did play "I Left My Heart in San Francisco," and literally they had been playing the Ramones, and to go, but you know, it was great. I mean, I'm not a big Tony Bennett fan, as you might imagine, but Jesus, the guy could sing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing that was amazing about him, and there were a couple of other vocalists like him, classical training type singer, no. But like such great phrasing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nuance. Yeah.
It wasn't like a Julie Andrews type voice, which was so beautifully classically, but such great phrasing, like a Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you instantly found yourself in some dark bar with a dude sitting next to a piano, tinkling away. You know, I mean, it's a different time. These things don't exist anymore, really.
You know what Warren Beatty said? They asked him, what is real success? He says, real success is when you wake up in Hollywood, in your house, and you go out to the pool, and there are 6 girls laying around the pool, and you don't know who they are.
Warren would have known what that was about. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
There you go. See. Well, I've got a great picture that I inherited from a friend of mine who passed away with Warren Beatty and his girlfriend at the time, Diane. Was it Lane? No, Diane. You know, the one who was in The Godfather. You know.
Keaton.
Yeah, Diane Keaton. He took a picture of them on the street in New York in like '72, well, you know, he asked, "Can I take your picture?" He goes, "Well, you're not paparazzi, are you?" No, just for me. And he took a picture of the two of them together, and it's a fine picture. I mean, it really is a great sort of on the street in New York. He's wearing a T-shirt. She's just looking amazing. Again, a different time. Such times no longer exist, I'm afraid. Now we're kind of locked in this living purgatory. I care if I'm gonna devolve into an emo album cover at some point if I keep this up. So I'm gonna stop here.
Wow. Wesley, what's going on with you? What's happening with your stuff?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Next.
Next.
Nothing. Next guest.
Yes.
I just want to attack this one point, and it's not like specifically you. It's just you're part of it. Like blow up doll jokes are so old. They have real dolls now, and
They
it's
have fleshlights.
weird. Yeah, and fleshlights. Like I don't know. Like I don't see a lot of like blow up dolls anymore. It's like other shit. Like if anything, like they have like I don't even know what they call them, but like they're like not
They're
full
called real
Dolls. Yeah,
They're
called
just
real
like
dolls.
a torso.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell those are.
You know,
I got a torso at home too. Well,
I'd like to.
take that back.
I'd like to go on the side of being comforted by somebody who didn't know that. It's
Yeah.
actually,
Well,
it gives me great
for my-
pleasure and pride to know that one of my friends thinks blow up doll is state of the art. That pleases me to know.
See, that's the joke.
Well, I tell you what.
Yeah.
What creeps me out is driving along and they have all these headless mannequins along the side of the road at night.
No,
And it's
that's
like,
creepy. That's definitely creepy.
what? It's the middle of Detroit. What's the deal with headless mannequins? Couldn't you put at least some face on them or something? I mean,
I
I
call
don't know.
that a family reunion. What are you talking about? I mean, that's
But yeah, I don't know.
you know, one of my favorite Roxy Music songs is about a blow up doll. It's and again, yeah, it's a very 1972. Well, I mean, and I'm referencing Roxy Music. I mean, of course, it's 72. What else could it be? You know, but they make that. It was go all the way back to Jefferson Airplane, Plastic Fantastic Lover. I mean but yes, that I am referencing a Jefferson Airplane song from 1967. I suppose we are putting a date on things at this point, aren't we? Oh God! Just like I put a date on some of my hookups. It's like you are 18, right? Just nod. Just say yes. Okay, good. We can go.
So Lisa, you would basically just talk about the robot then? You know, come up with the robot jokes,
What? Maybe
sex robots or something like that.
that is something. I don't see anybody doing sex robot jokes. Like that is something you could
But
do.
that's a great band name, though, isn't it? The Sex Robots.
Robot joke.
Sex robot?
Yeah, Sex Robot. That's
Sex
I'm
robots.
stealing. That's going on stage next week. I'm sorry, Lisa. It's going to
do
be
it.
there
No, do it.
because I'm going to be there like their lighting director. You know, for
Like,
the Sex
I-
Robots.
Yes.
Oh my god.
All
like,
right, the sex
Me-
robots get against the back of the wall. And
Me,
we put the lights on the robots. All right.
They've got their newest EP coming out. It's called Manual Transmission.
yeah.
Yes.
It's the
Me-
it's the
meanwhile,
sex
my-
robot.
The headline: the singer is AI. Call him AI. There we go. You know.
Meanwhile, my band is only getting gigs at VFW halls.
Yeah.
That-
Oh my goodness! I just think when I think of the disappointment I am to my parents, it makes me smile. It's so nice to know they're dead and beyond the grave and can't do a damn thing about it until I warm up the Ouija board, you know, and it's like get that thing out, see it start flying around. What's it spelling out? It says clean your room. Quit doing that. You're going to go blind. It's like,
Clean.
okay, Mom. I
Clean.
get it. I taught you better than that. I can't believe my loins gave birth to a Republican. Yeah. Well, she used to say that to me anyway, so that was her way of saying hello.
I grew up. I always thought Ouija was like an ethnic put down. You know,
Yes.
call somebody a Ouija.
Well, the thing is, it's German. It's German and French. It means yes, yes. That's what it is. Ouija. It's yes. It's a yes board.
That's
You
really
know,
funny because
I-
like there is a
you know,
slur called weeb, but that's for like people who
Yeah,
like
that weeaboo.
Japanese
Yeah,
anime. Yeah, weeaboo, so
Yeah,
you can call them
right.
weebs. And then there's Ouija, which is just Luigi from the Mario games, but like I don't know,
Yes.
weirder and untethered. I don't know.
My
And the
mom,
fact
my
that I know
mom, who
these
was not,
references tells you that I've been hanging around with the wrong people for years.
Oh
now.
yeah, I know.
my
We know
mom
this.
had a reputation. She was a school teacher, third grade school teacher, had a great reputation for an excellent sense of humor. But some of the funniest things she ever said, she didn't realize how funny they were. When she found out, somebody told her, some religious fanatic in the neighborhood said the Ouija board was a tool of Satan.
Well, yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
but
of
here's
course.
my mom's reply to this woman. I was born a magic 8-ball girl, and I'll die a magic 8-ball girl.
That is funny.
I love that.
When one wishes to summon the powers of the dark side, I think the Magic 8-Ball is my number one go-to. You know, I mean, you sit in the middle of
the magic 8-ball had less options than the folded piece of paper that you did.
Which means you have to be very specific with your questions. That's all.
Okay.
You know, you're looking at it, it says maybe, sounds like good, quit killing the children, the dog, you know, things like that. You know, maybe it would happen, but only if you were a better person. You know, I mean, Hawthorne Heights is on tour. I mean, there are all kinds of interesting things the Magic 8-Ball can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping I'd make Lisa laugh with the Hawthorne Heights reference, but never mind. It's
Oh,
too
what?
late.
Yeah.
Thank you for the pity laugh.
Yeah. Did you?
It's
9
o'clock.
When I was a kid, the Ouija was more. That was sort of your entryway into doing things with the girls, because girls had hopscotch, and
Yes.
boys had marbles. Remember? And nary the twain,
they do.
nary
And
the twain shall meet. Boys did not play hopscotch, and girls did not play marbles. If we did have one girl that played marbles, she was really good, and you know what that meant?
What?
Oh, she was going to get picked for the baseball team, but not have to play right field.
In my neighborhood, it was the girls played double dutch.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. Same thing.
But come on, you tell me you just couldn't resist the allure when that first time when you got to touch their fingertips in the darkened room with a candle going somewhere.
With a Ouija board?
No, that
with a
happened
Ouija
to me
board.
with my camp counselor.
Yeah, well. And by the way, Sam, I was sorry about that. You know, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. We rent a canoe. I understand.
I mean, we were on Fire Island. You brought the
You were
Mogan
just
Day
on
with 20.
fire.
Well, what could I be? I mean, enough Brandy Alexanders to light my ass up. I mean, I was only 12, but whatever.
Speaking of great names for a stripper,
Yes.
What's that?
Brandy Alexander. Yeah.
Well, we got a comic in Ann Arbor named Brandy Alexander.
Oh, when the first Indiana Jones came out, Mark Klein and I, who called me today about Tom, Mark Klein and I were playing in Bloomington, no, in West Lafayette, and
Another great
host of the show, as it often happened on solo gigs, was a local DJ.
Right. Yep.
And he went by the name, I love this, Indiana Jones.
Oh, good. Yeah, good.
So
Yeah.
I said to him, I love when someone says something and they don't get what they just said. So I said, well, Tom, Mark was headlining, I was middling. So I said, what should I call you when I outro you? He goes, Indy. I said, no, really. I said, that's not your name. He goes, well, that's what everyone knows me by. I said, the movie's been out 9 days. What does everybody really know you by? And he goes, David. I said, how about Dave? How about that? And it reminded me of this old Dragnet show where this guy's pushing LSD on kids. So Jack Webb comes in and there's all this sitar music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jack Webb thinks of when he thinks of LSD.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he walks up to this guy who's pushing the acid, and he says to him, what's your name, sir? They call me the mystic entitled. Hey, cut it, pal. What's your name? He goes, Norm Crane.
I always like the Dragnet episode of Blue Boy. Blue Boy.
Yes.
I also
That was a
liked it
great
when
one.
somebody threatened Jack Webb, and he goes, unless you're growing, sit down.
Hey, I'm trying to pot up the music. You guys hear anything?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Jack was also in Andy's favorite movie, Sunset Strip. He's got what, a 5 and under?
There was
Sunset
one
Boulevard.
episode where
Sunset
they had
Boulevard.
these young rookie cops, and one of the cops was O.J. Simpson.
Yes. God, OJ. Oh, why'd you have to go and?
Well, you know, he tried a career as a stand-up comic, but the opening line was, "You ever be stabbing bitch?"
Oh, I know. The number of really tasteless OJ jokes that went around back then. You know, like what was Nicole's last words? Yes, I'm fucking a waiter. What are you gonna do about it?
Whose was that?
That was Nicole Brown's last words. Yeah. I'm fucking a waiter. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, I can't get my music outros to work here, but we're at the end of our hour. Stick around after we're not live anymore. I'm gonna take this down. Sorry about how it all ends, all awkward and shitty like this, but
you know, again, have you been on a grinder date with me, Mark? Because those are my words. Exactly. I mean, it's like,
I told you to copyright, but no one listens to me.
No. I would just throw a tissue at them and say, "Listen, it's 8 Mile. Get